Let me.
You got the golden coffee mug and everything. Wow.
About that.
I figured I'd represent today. Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Here, I'll put mine up. I'll take a drink. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our Consultant Spotlight. Today, I am very excited to introduce you to one of our newer members, I guess. He's been not fairly new, but kind of new, Mr. Corbin Neike. And hope you get to enjoy the conversation that I get to enjoy along with me. Welcome to the conversation, Corbin.
Thanks, Brian. Glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Corbin, first of all, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for doing one of these silly little things. But I guess we like to typically start out every conversation and tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about what your role here is at Golden, and kind of how long you've been here and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty much a Columbus, Ohio, person. So I've pretty much been in this general area for about the past 20 years. So went to school out in Wittenberg, went to grad school at OU, been living on the east side in Gahanna, and I've had some, jobs in my career over the past 10, 15 years in customer service and sales and project management. But I've really taken a keen knack for IT, for database administration. I kind of just happened to dabble in Salesforce administration a few years back and just kind of fell into it and was really happy. And I've been doing that for about, like I said, the past 4 or 5 years. I have a few certifications with that, and I'm just really passionate about the platform and have just, done everything Salesforce that I possibly could.
Sure.
So at Golden, I was hired to be a Salesforce Administrator for 8451, a division of Kroger, and been doing that now for a little over 3 months. Like you said, I'm still fairly new, so I think I'm at a good point now where I'm not drinking from the fire hose quite as much anymore, but I'm starting to really understand how things work and really produce some ROI for my client.
Sure. And so when did you first touch Salesforce?
Yeah, it was, I don't know how familiar everybody is with the Salesforce ecosystem, but it's not uncommon that the accidental admin comes through. So I just got tapped by the company I was working for at the time. They were purchasing Salesforce. This is about 4.5 years ago. And they said, "Hey, Corbin, you seem like you'd be good at this thing. Why don't you learn Salesforce?" So just kind of, self from the ground up. I was eager about it, and definitely some blood, sweat, and tears that went into that, but just really discovered something that I was really passionate about and I loved.
Sure.
So I just kind of, I taught myself and got a certification. Then I just, kept digging and digging and digging. And, it's just so expansive and so just enormous at this point that there's always something to learn. Like I said, just every day is kind of a new challenge and a new adventure. It really never ends.
Awesome. Yes. So I am very familiar with Salesforce. I used to sell it, actually. I spent 3 years in that entire ecosystem, and went to Dreamforce a couple times, and so drank from the Kool-Aid of Salesforce and Mark Benioff.
Yep.
And so love that space very much. So what exactly are you doing with Salesforce inside 8451 right now?
Yeah, so right now it's myself and another admin and a business analyst kind of comprise our Salesforce team, which is a little component of our greater business systems team. So specifically, I kind of just take some of the offshore from the greater whole of, some service tickets that come in, some incidents, some requests. I'm actually coming in at a time that's really interesting because the entire organization just got off of a year-long project with implementing Dynamics 365, and that's heavily integrated into Salesforce, and Salesforce is heavily integrated into all other kinds of systems as well. So I'm coming in at a time where there's a lot of change. There's a lot of bugs to be fixed. There's a lot of enhancements to be made, and there's also a lot of technical debt that just needs some cleanup. So just even in my past 3 months of tenure there, I had the opportunity to kind of hit the ball running right there, and start making some enhancements to some integration code that wasn't working right from like my second week onward. And like I said, just kind of proposing different ideas and fixing different things in the system to just make it cleaner and more scalable. Because it is it's about a 5-10 year org. So it's got a lot of artifacts that it worked great 5 years ago, but they don't even do what they're supposed to anymore. So there's a lot to be done there. But right now, just kind of trying to help in any way that I possibly can.
Sure. Yeah, and so you mentioned that you have some certifications with Salesforce. Mm-hmm. What are your certifications that you currently hold?
Yeah, so I'm an administrator. That was my first one. I got that within a year of starting Salesforce, was very proud of that. And then about a year later, I buckled down and got my advanced administrator and my platform app builder. Awesome. So I figure that's kind of the admin powerhouse trio of just saying, I know what Salesforce does. I know how to configure it.
Sure.
My next, what's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, my next kind of roadmap right now, I've been dabbling a little bit at the platform developer. I was a comp sci minor in college, and I've always appreciated development, and I dabble a little bit and it excites me, but I only really want to know enough to be dangerous. I don't want to sit there and develop all day long. So, so I'm just kind of self-teaching at the pace that I can during these unprecedented times. Got a lot of free time on my hands.
Right. That's awesome. That's great. Now you say you live in Columbus. You live in Gahanna. That's my East Side. I'm an East Side Columbus boy. I grew up.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I lived in Reynoldsburg area. And
I actually grew up in Pickerington, so I've been East Side for my whole life.
Is that right? Yeah, I grew up. Bixby in Maine was my stomping ground. I went to Bishop Hartley High School. So
yeah.
And you probably went to one of the Pickerington schools, right?
Yep. The pretty much the main ones. Yeah. Then they split when I got a little bit older, and now, gosh, it's expanded so much. My parents, my father actually grew up in Reynoldsburg, and he always says how, gosh, Pickerington, Reynoldsburg, all that area, it just was cornfields 20, 30 years ago. So it's amazing how much it's grown.
Route 2, like 204 and 256, where the Burger King is there. That was pretty much the only thing that was there.
Yeah.
So we used to go back there and take our. I had a Camaro at the time, so we'd sneak a 12-pack of the crappiest beer you could find and go hang out in the Burger King parking lot in Pickerington. Yeah. There was no cops anywhere.
Yep. Yeah. I was gonna say nope.
And now that's like a major metropolitan corner right there.
Oh yeah. It's grown considerably.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And so you live in Gahanna now?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So just about 10 minutes away from Easton. Love the area.
Sure. Yeah, I was in New Albany for 5 years. So I right after my wife and I got married, we started our family there and then moved down here about 15 years ago. So very familiar with the area. So what are some of the things that you like to do outside of work?
Well, lately, I mean, during the pandemic, I had a lot going on last year in 2020. So I finished up grad school. I graduated with my MBA from Ohio University in December. So I was really proud of that. It was a lot of hard work. Yeah, thank you. During that same time, I had my first son, my 8-month-old son, Jude. I was born in June. So I'm a new dad, trying to navigate that. That's a new adventure every day. You can probably see some of the bags under my eyes there. Some sleepless nights for sure.
Sure.
I also got a nephew last October as well. So some new additions to the family. So yeah, I mean, these days, between obviously taking care of my son and growing and learning with him and just seeing him, light up and discover everything. And then my nephew just lives right over in that Reynoldsburg area. So we love going over and visiting them just to see how he's growing up. And like I said, just trying to kind of, keep busy a little bit with my career and, try to take some little baby steps towards, a next cert or the next challenge. We are pretty excited. We're not super outdoorsy people, but, we love taking walks and we love just, going around and seeing nature. So we're, with Jude being born last June, we really didn't get a great chance to go outside, with the pandemic from, June until it started getting cold in the fall and winter. So now that he's a little bit older, we're really looking forward to just going around with him and, keeping some social distance still, but just getting to see everything outside with the little guy.
Sure. So if you were to be a particular superhero or have a particular superpower, what would you pick?
That's a good question. I suppose I'd have to say I'd have to go with Spider-Man, only because Uncle Ben is known for saying, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Yes.
And I like to think that Spider-Man exhibits that duality there. So I think I'd go with that because I kind of live that role a lot in work. As an administrator, you often have like the keys to remake everything the way you want it. Yeah.
Yeah. If I hit that button right there, you know what I could do?
Yeah. Well, I've worked with some people that I've seen use it, maybe in some times where they shouldn't have, and then I've seen sometimes where it's not used enough, but it takes that knowledge and that responsibility to understand like when to appropriately configure things in a certain way that's not going to just override everything because you can. So
sure.
Spider-Man for sure. I mean, plus web slinging. I mean, can't beat that.
I think like flying through downtown, going from building to building with a web would be really, shooting webs would be just like, but Superman's probably mine because Superman, you get to do all that. Plus you're the Superman.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can pretty much go anywhere you want. You can see through everything. You're super strong.
And
he
was pretty high integrity too. I think he was. I don't think there was ever a time where I'm trying to think of some of the old Star Wars Superman movies. If any of the Kryptonite Lex Luthor challenged his integrity. I think there was
so. There was this movie that came out recently. I want to say it's Brightburn. Have you seen that?
No.
It's really good, and I only bring it up because it's I think that's the name of it. But it's basically a alt take on what if Superman wasn't a good guy. So it's this Superman growing up, and he's kind of an evil kid. So yeah.
That's funny. So a couple more questions just around, and honestly, these questions are really more about, and I would love to have the honest about it, but give us the reasons why you chose this opportunity, why you chose this client, why you chose Golden. What were some of the things that drew you to the position when you were interviewing?
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, really from the very start, my initial reach out was with Colby, one of the talent acquisition people at Golden. And it's really important for me to work somewhere where I feel like I have impact and where my work means something. And it's important for me to also just kind of get along with people. I'm like you said before, I really don't want to be somewhere where I'm just kind of a number. My name is a side. Yeah. So Colby did a very good job right off the bat of just making me feel, like this was something that was in that wheelhouse, that it was kind of a family company kind of feel, that the work was respectable, that, it was a really good opportunity. So then when I just kind of dug in deeper, I had a follow-up call with Colby and Rishi, and that just kind of compounded, and we had some great rapport. Just really left me feeling very good about the whole experience. And initially, I wasn't really even looking for new opportunities. And Colby just, kind of floated basically the rundown of the job description and what kind of work it would entail, and the company, the client I'd be working with, and just really perked my interest. It seemed exactly like the kind of role that I really wanted to kind of move into in my career. The company seemed amazing. And actually, it just serendipitously happened to be a company that an old colleague of mine from college, a best friend of mine, currently works there in HR. And I remember she'd been talking about this company a year ago, about how great it was and about how much she loved working there. And this is completely unrelated, that I just happened to get reached out to about, and a potential position there. So I kind of saw that as like fortuitous and couldn't pass it up. So awesome. Then upon interviewing with them and everybody else, like I said, everybody that I talked to really made me feel very included, very comfortable. And then even still, like all the events that we've had, or the communications we've had from Sheila or you, Brian, or even our little holiday bingo, like it's felt really, even though everything's been virtual with the pandemic, I felt like I've been right there in the office.
Sure. And this fall, God willing, when the pandemic kind of slows down, the numbers shut down, and we can start doing some normal stuff, I look forward to. We'll have a big family picnic probably down here. It'll be either at Kings Island or one of the local parks where we'll play cricket or play baseball or have fun, and big cookout with kids right everywhere, and have kid games. So can't wait to meet your little one. And all.
I was going to say, I can't wait. My little guy might even be walking by then. Who knows? So that would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you very much for taking this time, and thank you very much for what you do for Golden from the bottom of my heart. I mean that. Working remotely from Columbus, you landed a very good a client. There's no question about it. 8451 is the creme de la creme, and so I think you're in pretty good shoes there. Okay, so one last very, very important question here is what is your spirit animal?
Oh boy, gosh, that's a tough one. I gotta think about that. So this might be cliche, but so I have a dog, and I'm actually really surprised he hasn't been running around here barking all morning during this. But he's a Shiba Inu, and that's for anybody that doesn't know what that is. That's like the Doge dog, like the meme dog online. He's very proud. He's very independent. He is very stubborn, and he tells you how it is. So he'll, if he doesn't want to eat right now, looks at his food, not right now, walks away. So I like to think that I'm not like that, but I wish, and I'm inspired by his spirit to be as proud and independent and just noble as he is. So I'd like to think that I'm like Shiba Inu.
There you go. There you go. Well, Corbin Neike, it was a very pleasure to talk with you, and I just want to thank you very much. If someone is watching this and they're thinking about joining Golden or one of our clients, you can tell them to run away as fast as possible if you want. But why do you think someone should join our organization?
Well, if you want to work with a team of really passionate people, really intelligent people that are really good at their craft, in an organization that cares about you and makes you feel like part of the family, that's why you should join. It's been a great experience for me so far. Every day, I feel, like I said, even though I'm about 300 miles from everybody on the team during the pandemic, I feel like I'm right in the office. I feel like I'm right at home.
Sure. Great. Well, thank you very much. And Corbin, you are an excellent resource for any organization. Salesforce technology is always going to be one of the cutting edge technologies out there. That organization has proven itself to kind of knowing how to reinvent itself and to create the latest and greatest things. And so I think that you'd be a valuable resource for any company that's listening to this video. And we're just very, very honored and grateful that you chose Golden for this particular opportunity. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, mutual, Brian. I really appreciate it.
Well, that's a wrap, everybody. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope you really, really enjoyed the conversation as much as I did with Mr. Corbin Neike. And he is an excellent Salesforce.com resource for Golden technology and for our clients. And before you go, just a couple of housekeeping things. We're going to have these things come out more often, so don't forget to get down there below me and hit that subscribe button. And then over on the other side of the screen, hit that like button. We just appreciate you listening. And you all have a great day, and take care. Be well, everybody.